piece of wood off the top. It's just stapled down. So we just pry this thing off the hive tube. Comes off pretty easily. And then what I've done is I've set up the hive with 6 frames in here. I've taken 3 out. And that's where I'm going to dump my bees, right in this area, and then I'm going to replace the frames. But the first thing you want to do is get the queen situated, because wherever the queen is, the worker bees are going to follow. So they put a feeding can in here. This just has sugar syrup in it for the, for the trip that they just took up from Georgia. And you gotta, sometimes it's kind of tricky. You gotta pry this thing out. And then once you pull this out, you'll see that the bees, some of them are going to find their way out, but that's not a big deal because they're all eventually going to end up following the queen into their new hive. This thing is a little tight. Okay, so there we go. That's your sugar water. You can sort of see that they're wanting to find their way out. And what I'm going to do is just take the queen cage and I'm going to lodge it between 2 frames in the hive. And that'll kind of give them their new home where they can start to clean it up and set it up for her. Once she's released from her cage, she'll immediately start laying eggs. There we go. So you can see they're really drawn to those pheromones that the queen puts off. And you also see that they kind of cling to each other. And the only time they do that is when they have a healthy queen in the hive. If you go into your hive and you see that the bees aren't doing that, like dangling like that, then you know there's something wrong, there's something missing. So I'm just knocking them into the hive, and you're gonna see that the queen is in here and she's got a blue dot on her back. Can you see her? It's right up. I'm gonna get it in the light so you get a good glimpse of her. You'll see that blue dot kind of moving around in there. And she's a nice, big, healthy queen. So that's good. So now, there's the cage, and then right here is some white candy. It's just thick sugar candy that they put in here. And it takes the bees about 3 days to work their way through that candy to release her. And in that time, they get acclimated to this hive, and that means they'll stay there. If the queen stays in there for 3 days, they're not gonna like move out. If you kind of try and put the queen immediately in there, she might decide that she doesn't like it. She might leave and go somewhere else. So this is just a way of delaying her from getting free. And I'll be coming back in a few days just to make sure she's released. So now we're going to take this. And what I'm going to do is just wedge this queen cage in between a couple of these frames. Oh, there's another drone right there. So I'm going to make it so that candy is sort of facing downward. And they'll work their way into releasing her. Sinking her into the wax there, and then it takes a little pocket for that thing to fit between these two frames. And there it is. Know that she's right there. Next time we come in, we can find it. And then I'm just gonna get these things ready to go back in. It's time to dump the bees. All you have to do is just make sure that the majority of them make it in here. Right now they don't really have a home, so they aren't as angry as they might be if you were invading their hive. They're kind of homeless right now, so they don't have that urge to defend this yet. When we come back next time, we'll see that they have guard bees kind of posted that, you know, they let you know if you're getting too close. These guys are very docile right now. It also has to do with the temperature. It's in the 40s today, so they're not as active as they'll be like on an 80-degree day in the summer. Shake them off the sides of the box, get them loose, and then try and get them out the hole. Trying to get them all out of here because I'm probably going to go down into the 30s tonight, and any of the bees that refuse to come out of the box are going to freeze. This here, so the ones that are in there have a chance to go in the entrance. I'm gonna put these frames in that have a lot of honey in them, so they'll be able to get some food right away. I'm also going to feed them with a top feeder, because this time of year there's just nothing, well, there's a few things blooming, but not enough to sustain them. So you really have to supply them with food to make it through the spring, you know, the early spring, until like the clover starts blooming and you really get more of the nectar that they like to forage for. Next, Robin had some honey in it for him. And all these frames have drawn combs, so they don't have to take the time to do that. They can really get going pretty fast. And this is like a sugar patty. It's just another high protein mix that they can use to get started. You just sort of spread this on the top frames. All right, and then gonna go in here. Thick sugar mixture with some added vitamins, lipids, you know, things that they need just to get them a jump start. They can come down through this drop, get the feed without drowning. And then I put the lid on. On there. And we are good. I'll reduce the entrance a little bit. And then they are, I'm gonna let them get in there. Those are good for 3 days, and in that time the queen will get released and immediately start laying eggs. I'll be coming back just to check and make sure that she's out and doing what she should be doing. So in the next video I'll be showing how you inspect the hive and find the queen. All right, next one.